Hello friends, welcome back to Belle's Library. I'm Heather. Today we're gonna start part one of my series review. We're gonna be talking about series that I started this year. Some of them I'm maybe caught up to this point what's available. A lot of them I am not. And so we're just gonna kind of check it out, and I believe I actually started and finished a few this year. So if you want to go back and see how this went last year, I definitely did worse in some ways, but I don't know. You'll see. If you watched last year's, it was really rough, and it's still pretty rough this year, but I'm happy about a couple of things. So we'll talk about that shortly. Before we get going into all of that though, please click that subscribe button. Really just would love to talk bookish with you guys. And I also have my Goodreads and Instagram linked so we can just talk about all the books and have a good time. And yeah, so just do it. Now let's go ahead and get this organized a little bit. So first we'll go ahead and start with series that I started this year that I'm not fully caught up in, up to where the books have been published yet. Then we'll go ahead and talk about series that I've started this year that I am caught up with what books are out and published. Then we'll talk about some series that I started most likely last year. I think there might be some from years before that I am still not caught up with, but I've made a little bit of progress through this year. And then last we'll talk about some series that I have finished up this year and actually completed. So that's kind of how we'll go. So I'm going to tell you now, this first section is the largest section out of all of these, and that series that I have started and I have not read up to what books are published in the series. So yeah, I mean, that sounds about right, because I just never finished series, and you know, that's the thing. Okay, so the first series that I have here that I started back in January was the Singing Hills cycle. And these are just short stories. I actually intend to read the next one in January in this series. So I'm gonna start moving on this series a little bit. But so the first book in the series is called The Empress of Salt and Fortune, and it's by Nai Vo. All these books, obviously, in the series are by her. And this one we're following, basically we have this story collector, I guess. They are going around and collecting stories from different people. And so the story that we're following is of this princess who is like in an arranged marriage, but she kind of, you know, she's not supposed to have any control over this, that, and the other, but definitely seems to. And it's a very beautiful writing style, but like there's so much metaphor behind it and so much you have to kind of read between the lines. So I did enjoy it, but it did take some brain power for me to really think about what was actually being told in the story. So far, I think last January, actually, the second book came out in this series, and it's called When the Tigers Come Down the Mountain. There's also supposed to be 3 more books published in the series, and I think the next one might come out this January. So I still have 1 book to technically catch up on now, but I'm probably going to end up needing 2 in the series starting in next year in January, so pretty soon here. The next series that I started also in January was the Small Spaces series by Katherine Arden. I have adored these. It's a middle grade horror series. I've read the first 2, Small Spaces and Dead Voices, and very much enjoyed them. And this last fall, Dark Waters came out, and the next fall, Empty Smiles is coming out. Look at this cover. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's like a carnival horror themed. I love this cover. Oh my gosh, I saw it the other day and I was like, that looks so amazing. I cannot wait to continue in this series. I definitely need to get to Dark Waters. I really enjoyed all of these. They're super quick, fast, fun reads. I really enjoy middle grade horror novels. They're so fast paced and they're so fun. And I feel like they use like some of those common tropes that are in the horror genre that I personally really like hauntings or like portals to some underworld or something where they're trying to defeat some big bad demon, or like that kind of stuff. And I like it with a group of kids, I guess. But yeah, really enjoy the series and definitely want to continue it. So the next series I have here is Between the Earth and Sky, and this one is, I read the first book, which is Black Sun. I need to get to the most recent one that came out, which is Fevered Star. And I think it's just a duology for this one, I'm pretty sure. I am not one of those people that loved Black Sun. Loved the concept. I enjoyed the fact that the story was something a little bit different, but you're following like 4 different perspectives, and I didn't enjoy all the perspectives. So there were certain perspectives we would get to, and I'm like, yes, this is who I want. And then we'd go to a different one, I'd be like, I don't really want this one. So I'm hoping like maybe with some building and getting into this next book, I'm going to feel a little more connected to all the characters possibly. We'll see. So that is one that I need to get to. Then another kind of short story collection of like short books is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. I know how to say it, and I always trip over it for a second. Anyways, this is following this girl from Earth and her like tribe and where she lives, and nobody really leaves home, but she really wants to get into this intergalactic school, and she's invited, and so she kind of sneaks away onto this spaceship, and it's like her journey getting to the school basically, and just a really fun short story. And I would like to continue in the series, and there is a couple more out. Yeah, so there's 2 more books, Home and The Night Masquerade. So hopefully I can get to those maybe in January. I'm going to be trying to do my 31 books in 31 days thing like I did last year, because I really enjoyed doing that, and then I can catch up on some of these short stories I got. The next one is the lovely romance series Well Met by Jen DeLuca. There is 2 more out that I haven't read that I'm dying to. We have Well Played and Well Matched, and then there is one more coming out, I think in 2022. It's called Well Traveled. So I loved Well Met. 5-star read for me. I just loved the Renaissance vibes going on, so I would love to get back to that, and I definitely have this as a priority to get to. Oh my gosh, I need to just read 24 hours a day. I'm gonna catch up on all this stuff. This is crazy. Then let's talk about the Daevabad trilogy. So I've read City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper. Adored them. Oh my gosh, Kingdom of Copper was so good. And then I immediately was like, oh, I'm gonna jump into Empire of Gold, which is the last book in this trilogy. And I'm like, yeah. And then it came through, and I just never read it when it came through from my library. And I just was like, I was feeling a really big slump in November, and that's when it came in, and I couldn't handle the big chunkiness of the book, and I don't know. So I know I'm going to get to this one because I really have been enjoying the series. I just wasn't prepared mentally for a big book in November, and it's a pretty chunky one. Then we have the Founders trilogy, which I've read Foundryside from, but there's 2 more books, Shortfall and Locklands. I love the covers of these. They're so cute. Not really cute, but they're just beautiful. And this one, I feel like I need to go back and reread Foundryside to continue this series, to be quite honest, because I feel like a lot happened in there and I don't really remember much of it. So I need to go back. Sometimes with fantasy, it's hard to space them out too much because you'll just lose so much about the characters in the world, and then you have to remember it all, and it gets a little rough. I'm thinking this next year, I may try to group some of these fantasies closer together, so I can just be invested in the world and just feeling it, and I don't have to get lost when I'm trying to pick it up 6 months later. Now let's go ahead and switch into a mystery series. Oh my gosh, I've got all kinds of different genres here. I love it. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I've read that first book, but there's 2 more. There's Good Girl, Bad Blood, and As Good as Dead. So I really want to get to both of those. I've heard that they're just as good as the first one, and the first one was so much fun, and I really, really loved it. I loved the mixed media element, and I think I listened to this one on audio. Yeah, and the audio was awesome. When she would make phone calls or have text messages, it'd be in other people's voices, and I really enjoyed that. Another really good audiobook was Sleeping Giants. In this series, I still have the next 2, Waking Gods and Only Human, to go through, and this is a sci-fi trilogy that is following these people found this huge giant robot person. They found pieces a piece of it, and then they're like out searching to find the rest of the pieces and put this big thing together and figure out what the heck it's doing. And it's got like this advanced technology, and oh my gosh, loved it, loved it. Oh my gosh, this one has a lot of political ties and intrigue and stuff in it. So if you're not into that, it might bring down your intrigue, but the audiobook was amazing because it is told in interviewed style, and they did a wonderful job with it. Then we have the series, the Beartown series by Fredrik Backman. There's a couple more books in this one. So Us Against You is out already, and then The Winners is coming out, I think, in 2022. I enjoyed this one. I really liked Bachman's writing, although I feel like it could have hit me a little bit harder. Just there was a lot of characters, and I don't know that I fully got connected, but I'm curious to kind of have some more time with them and see where this one goes, following this little small town that's very into ice hockey. And unfortunately, that means that they protect their ice hockey members even when maybe they shouldn't, like when they sexually assault another girl, and then they are all blaming the girl instead because they don't want their star ice hockey guy out. So, you know, My next one I have here is Lock and Key, which is like a graphic novel series, and I've read the first volume, and there is 6 total volumes, so definitely have some catching up to do in this one. I didn't love the art style in this one, and I've really enjoyed the TV show recently, but I still want to continue and see where it goes, so we'll see if I actually end up deciding to read all 6. But as of right now, I would like to continue. And this is following this mom and her 3 kids. They like move into their dad, his childhood home, and they start finding all these keys. And the keys like open different things. Like they'll open a door that they can go through and turn into a ghost, and then they can come back through and they go back in their body. Or they open a door to like their head and they can see their thoughts in like a different way. I don't know. Just lots of different cool keys that do different things that they're finding out about, but it also opens up the door to things that maybe are not great either. The next series I have here is Crown of Feathers. I've read the first book, Crown of Feathers, and I still need the next 2, which are Heart of Flames and Wings of Shadow. Another gorgeous cover series. Like, oh my gosh, these are beautiful. Phoenixes, that is awesome. We've got Phoenix Riders, Anne of Revolution, and super fun. Would like to continue this series as well, hopefully soon. Another graphic novel series that I have here is Something is Killing the Children. I've read the first 2 volumes and I've got 2 more to go. I definitely intend to get into this a little bit more either this month. I think I actually just downloaded the 3rd one because I was thinking about it from here. But yeah, also maybe next month. But these are just great graphic novels where we're following this town where all these kids start going missing, can't figure out what's going on, and then this strange woman shows up and she's like, I'm the only one who can fix this. I'm going out in the woods. I need this, that, and the other. And she goes out to find a monster in the woods. Then we have a vampire series, The Beautiful, which I read the first one. This one's by Renee Audier. We have The Damned, The Righteous, and The Ruined. That still I need to read. Books 2 and 3 I have are out. The 4th book is coming out in 2022, if I can, speak. And this is set in New Orleans, like, I don't know, early 1900s maybe. I can't remember exactly when, but, back there a little ways. And we're following this girl, and she ends up running into this band of people that maybe she shouldn't get involved with. And there's a little bit of some vampire-ish stuff going on. Then I also started Throne of Glass series this year, which I am participating in a read-along, so hopefully this one will actually get continued and finished. But this was my first Sarah J. Maas book that I read. I enjoyed it, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows a general idea of what this is about. Selena, she's like the king's assassin, and the first book's about her competing to become the king's assassin. So there's 7 books in this series. I've read 1, and I'm supposed to be reading the 2nd one this month. It's more graphic novels, the Tea Dragon Society books. I've read the first 2 graphic novels here, so I have Tea Dragon Tapestry left, and this one's definitely getting finished soon because these are just like, you need a pick-me-up, cutest, happiest little squishy little tea dragon guys. Oh my gosh, and we're gonna go take care of them and have some tea, which I've been very much getting into drinking tea lately, so I'm just gonna make myself a cup of tea and finish off this last one real quick. Wow, this list is like never ending. This is out of control, you guys. So then we have the Legacy of Risha series, which I read the first one, which is Children of Blood and Bone, and I loved it. These are by Tomi Adeyemi. And we have Children of Virtue and Vengeance out already. And then 2022, the third last book will be coming out. And this one was just super fun. Basically, like, magic is just one night all of a sudden disappears from this world, and all the magi are brutally massacred. And now it's like 10 years later or something, and one of the kids that would have turned into a magi, she now has a chance to save magic, and we're following her journey as she's trying to figure that out. I also read my first Brandon Sanderson this year, and it was Skyward, so I need to continue this series. This was an amazing first book. I'm so excited to get into Starsight and Cytonic, and then Defiant is coming out in 2022. Oh my gosh, this one was so much fun, you guys. I really loved it. Yeah, it was great. This is about like this girl, and she is kind of branded a coward because her dad was a pilot, and he supposedly like ditched out on this big huge fight, and so now everybody like kind of just associates her with that, but she wants to be a pilot and get into flight school, and she's really just coming up with a lot of struggles trying to do that. People are pushing her boundaries and just being like, no, you can't do this. And she's like, yes, I can. And you're following her trying to make it through flight school with all of those obstacles. And there's also a really awesome talking ship. Oh my gosh. Loved it. Loved it. Oh my gosh. This is definitely one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. The Bear and the Nightingale. I love this one so much. So the Winter Night trilogy, I definitely need to get to. We have Girl in the Tower and Winter of the Witch next. And oh my gosh, these are the most atmospheric books ever. These would be great to read in winter. But do I have time to this winter? Oh my gosh, they were so wonderful. Yeah, love the series so far. Then we have another romance series that I started, and this is the Jameson Valley series. I read Coppersmith Farmhouse. These are by Daphne Perry, and there's quite a few books in this series following different side characters. We have Clover Chapel, Lucky Heart, The Outpost, The Bitterroot Inn, and The Candle Palace. I really enjoyed the little small town feels and the connections. The first book I really enjoyed, like we were following a nurse and a sheriff. Really enjoyed the nurse aspect of it because I'm a student nurse, if you guys don't know, and I'm almost graduated. I have like 2 more weeks. I'm so excited. And then we have the sheriff aspect. I didn't totally enjoy kind of that side plot line, so I'm curious as to how much that's going to come into these next ones, because I feel like I could love some of these next ones even more. So I'm excited to continue this series. I need more romance in my life. Belle's Bookland did not give me enough this last year. Almost done with this list. We have 2 more series to talk about. These Witches Don't Burn, which also has This Coven Won't Break. So it's just a duology. I have 1 more book to finish here. And this one is a YA about this like witch, and she has to team up with her ex-girlfriend who's also a witch in her coven because they feel like there's some other witch in town that's like a blood witch that's trying to be out for their coven, and the rest of the coven doesn't really believe them and thinks that it's just a farce. So yeah, it's been good. And then the last one actually does not fall into this category. I wrote it in the wrong spot, so we'll come back to that one in a minute. Let's go ahead and it actually goes into this next category. These are series that I started, and I'm caught up to where the publications of these books has been. So we'll go ahead and just throw this one in here. And that's the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. So this series, the book just came out like September, October. I just read it recently. So I've read the first book, and I think it's going to be a duology. So the next one I think is supposed to come out next year. So yeah, the next one's not out, but I'm caught up there. Also, Legendborn. Oh my gosh, another one of my favorite books this year. I absolutely adored this one. So the next book's coming out, I believe, next year as well, and that is Bloodmarked. And this one's like a King Arthur retelling with some fun, like dark academia feels, and it's just, so much fun. And then Six Crimson Cranes. Oh my gosh, I adored this one too. This one's got this great fairy tale retelling, like feeling to the writing. It was just beautiful. Oh my gosh, I want to read more by Elizabeth Lim so much now. So that one just came out over the summer, so hopefully the new one's coming out. The Dragon's Promise. I haven't seen a cover, but just saw the new title, so excited about that one. It is just such a magical world, and we're following like this princess who gets like shunned. She can't talk. If she says any words, one of her brothers will die. She has like 6 brothers, and all her brothers are turned into cranes. And she's trying to basically take down her evil stepmom who did this, who's now the queen and ruling. And yeah, it's great. So this next little category that I have is series that I started previously to 2021 that I have been working on a little bit this year, but I'm still not quite caught up, I don't think. So we have the Wayward Children series. So I read the first book in this series in 2020. And then this past year, I've read 3 more. So I read Beneath the Sugar Sky, In an Absent Dream, and Come Tumbling Down. But Across the Green Grass Fields also came out this year, and I haven't gotten to that one yet. And then in January, Where the Drowned Girls Go is coming out in this series. These are short stories. They're like a portal fantasy of these kids who have gone into other worlds, and now they're back in our world, and they're not fully coping, and they want to get back to these other worlds, and you get to explore these different magical worlds. And I love the magicalness of them. I love the lyrical writing that she has in them. Beautiful. So I am definitely excited to be continuing this one. Then we'll really quick talk about Serpent and Dove. I read that one in 2020. This last year in 2021, read the next one, Blood and Honey, but Gods and Monsters came out this year, and I haven't gotten to that one, and that would be the last one in this series. I will say I didn't enjoy the second book as much, and I think that's why I haven't really wanted to fully pick up the last book. Although I do seem to have a problem with picking up the last book in longer or chunkier fantasy books. I don't know if I just don't want the series to finish or what, but I have several series that have just been sitting for quite a while that the last book just needs to get done. So we're going to talk about that in the part 2. I have some series that I didn't start this year, started previously, that I didn't make any progress with, and you'll see some in that, as well as my series I'm in a DNF. That's coming in part 2. So the last series in this section is the Twisted Tales series. I read Conceal Don't Feel, and I just recently read As Old as Time. And these are like classic Disney tales that are slightly twisted. So As Old as Time is following the Beauty and Beast timeline and story, but saying that what if it's Belle's mother who cursed the beast? So there's just a slight twist to them. So there's quite a few I haven't read, but after reading that most recent one, I was like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued to read more of these. So we have Reflection was the Mulan one, Part of Your World for the Little Mermaid one, Go the Distance is Hercules, So This Is Love is Cinderella, Straight On Till Morning for Peter Pan, A Whole New World for Aladdin, Mirror Mirror for Snow White, Unbirthday, Alice in Wonderland, Once Upon a Dream, Sleeping Beauty, What Once Was Mine, which is Rapunzel, and coming out next year, Almost There by Princess Tiana's story. Oh my gosh, I'm really excited for that one. I love that movie. Okay, and then our very last section, which is not very long either. These are series that I actually finished this year. I actually have books in this section. If you decided to watch last year's, I will spoil it right now if you've made it this far and tell you that I did not finish any series last year. So these are the ones that I actually finished this year. I finished the Get a Life Chloe Brown series by Talia Hibbert. I read books 2 and 3, which is Danny Brown and Eve Brown stories, and adored them. I also finished the Caraval series. I had read the first one previously, and I finished the next 2, Legendary and Finale. Woo! Had a blank mind for a minute there. I also finished the Anna Dressed in Blood series. The next one, Girl of Nightmares. That was just a duology, so I finished that one. Then I finished the Renegade series, which I had read the first 2 previously, and then I finished Supernova this year. And I also read the Green Hollow duology by Emily Tesh, and this is just 2 short stories, and I actually read them both this year. Silver in the Wood and Drowned Country. And then the Illuminae Files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I had read Illuminae previously, and I finished up Gemina and Obsidio, and this fun sci-fi trilogy there. And then I also finished both these books this year, Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen, which is a duology fantasy romance. Really enjoyed the first book on that one. I mean, if you want fantasy romance with some piratey stuff going on, you might check those ones out. Oh, and those are by Tricia Levenseller. Wow, that was a lot. So there's a bunch of stuff with series going on there and where I'm at in my journey with a lot of those. Let me know down below if you guys have some really great series that you finished up. Also, I asked in my last Belle's Bookland for some really good new prompts to add to my TBR game. So I haven't gotten a ton. So I'm going to ask again, if you made it this far, leave me some kind of prompt down below. Can be a punishment prompt or just a regular old prompt. Anything that you guys want to throw down there, I would love, so I can add some variety and some stuff that you guys are giving me. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys today though, and come back around for part 2 in I think I have it planned out for in 1 week from today. So check that out and we'll talk some more about all of the series that I'm working on. Bye guys.